She has celebrated director Sohaila Kapur for a brother, veteran actor Dev Anand for an uncle. But that is not what she's known for. A writer, director, actor, playwright. She's multifaceted. I have with me on the show today talking about her crush on Delhi, the multi-talented Sohaila Kapur. Thank you so much for being on the show, Ms. Kapur.
Most welcome.
You were a journalist for 10 years. You have written plays, worked in over a dozen television serials, and you are also currently working on more than 2 books. How do you manage to fit all these things into your life?
Just about. I wonder myself. But I'm afraid my schedule is frenetic. Ask my son. He's really annoyed with me. Not much time for him. But then he's also growing up, and he says, okay, in a way it's better that you're, away from me. You don't bother me so much. But yes, I try and fit it in as well as I can. Sometimes things get left out, dates get cancelled, but I manage. I survive.
Okay, you come from a family which is steeped in television and films, but that wasn't your first choice. In fact, it all started with journalism. Why not television and film as your first choice?
Well, film was my first choice. Okay. I always wanted to be an actress, but the days when I was a youngster, a teenager, girls, and especially girls from film families, did not join films. Okay. And it was not the done thing. So I was very clearly told that, forget about films, anything else you want to do, why don't you become a doctor? Then my mother, who was a journalist of her time, said, it's a very good career. And she was very far-sighted. She says, this is a career that's going to go very far in the next 20 years. So I took her advice and applied at the Times of India, and that's how I became a journalist.
And you were there for 10 years at the Times of India.
That's right.
Well, you grew up in Delhi. Your schooling was at Modern.
That's right.
And you did your college from Lady Shri Ram College.
That's right.
Do you think the atmosphere of where you studied and the place where you were growing up contributed to your creative growth?
I think so, definitely. Delhi, with all her white spaces, the greenery that's multiplied. And, the sweet smell of earth, that is so Delhi, whenever I smell it anywhere in the world, I'm reminded of this place where I was born. All that worked itself into my imagination, and I guess that's how I became a writer.
It's really wonderful to hear you talk about Delhi in the female tense. It's very rare. You were in Delhi since the time you were a child, and you've seen Delhi, of course, and we are at the India Habitat Center right now, which is a very prominent location in the city. Why is it one of your favorite places in Delhi?
Because this is where I performed a lot of my plays, and this is where we hang out, have coffee at the American Diner, and plot our next play.
Okay, so you of course have performed your plays over here many a times.
Right.
Ms. Kapur, do you feel that Delhi as a city is the hub of theatre, like Bombay is considered as the hub of films?
I'm afraid Bombay is also the hub of theatre. Well, Delhi is known for its experimental plays, yes. But it does not as yet have that kind of a theatre culture. I would know because we are struggling every time to get finance for our plays. And we're an established group now. The Hungry Heart Festival is known. With the Hindustan Times, we have an annual festival. But we never stop the struggle. Even Hindustan Times has to struggle, to get funding for plays for the festival.
Well, let's move away from the topic of theatre and go into films with television, because that is something which you have done a lot, and in fact your television career started abroad.
Yes.
But one of your most exciting projects was right here in India, the award-winning National Geographic's documentary, The Great Indian Witch Hunt. And I believe you actually travelled down the tribal belt of India, investigating cases of witch hunting. What was that experience like? You must have seen a lot of bizarre, if I may use the word bizarre, incidents, and anything which has stuck onto you.
Yes, absolutely. We were investigating a case of a young 17-year-old boy who had killed his sister-in-law, and he'd killed her with an ordinary blade. He just sawed off her neck because he thought she was a witch and she was killing all the men in the family. And we went into investigative mode. My character was just me, Sohaila the journalist, who's investigating this case. It turned out that all the men in the family had TB. And in the film, we actually, we went to him, we showed all those scenes where we told him, went to jail, explained to him. We went to a doctor and he said, this entire family has TB. And he looked at the reports of the brother who was the surviving brother. And he just wouldn't believe it. We went to jail, we told him that, and he just kept mum. So I think what really stuck with me was the fact that he ran to the police station with his sister-in-law's head
Oh, God.
held in his hand and confessed at the police station. I wasn't there per se myself, but we saw the shots of that, and that really horrified me.
Well, that's absolutely horrifying and quite a contrast to the secure confines of Habitat Center, or rather Delhi also, which sounds like such a safe place after what you've told me.
Absolutely.
Well, since we are at the Habitat Center, let's just lighten the mood slightly. Is there any other place over here where you like going to?
Well, let me take you to that place where we generally hang out.
Let's go. We're in this beautiful ground right at the center of the Habitat Center, adjacent to the Stein Auditorium, which has got this beautiful lotus pond, and it's really like a refuge from all the hustle and bustle of the city. So is this where you hang out most of the times?
Yes, this is where we hang out. We sit over here near the lotus pond and we eat
At the American diner.
Always. Eat, mostly actually we go to drink coffee.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it gets too expensive sometimes.
Well, earlier we talked about the award-winning documentary.
Right.
And you've also worked on an award-winning, national award-winning film, Rukmavati Ki Haveli.
That's right.
What do you enjoy the most? Writing, directing, acting, journalism?
Ooh, tall order. Very difficult. I love each of them. They have their own little space, in my heart. It's very difficult to decide. When I get passionately involved in any one of them, I love it for that moment. So I can't really choose or decide. I'm a producer also now. I mean, I have the Hungry Heart Festival. I'm one of the producers. But that's not a job there. Production work is not something I enjoy. I love directing, acting and writing. I would put it to you this way. All three of them.
Okay, all three of them. So no first love, second love?
No, not really.
You can't choose between them?
No, it's like having triplets. You don't have a favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all your favorites.
That's wonderful to know. Well, you've lived in Canada, you've lived in Bombay, you've lived in Delhi, you've traveled to scores of cities all over the world and in India. Why decide to live in Delhi finally?
Oh, because I think my soul belongs here. I told you, that particular smell of Delhi, that is the seed of my love for this city, and I'll never forget it because of that. Because I know, I've lived in Toronto, I've loved all the cities I've lived in, Bombay, Toronto, but whenever that particular smell assails me, I get very homesick. So I said it's better to come back home.
So you're a Delhi wala at
I'm a
heart.
pakka Delhi wala.
Pakka Delhi wala.
Absolutely.
Well, you have seen this city change, of course, over the years. Has this city in any way changed you?
No, I don't think the city has changed me. I guess the profession has. Like you yourself said, why television after writing? Because there was an onslaught of television, We didn't have that kind of television journalism. Earlier it was print. Maybe the profession has changed me, because the medium has changed. The city hasn't, except that I have seen the city change. I haven't changed. The city hasn't changed me, let's put it this way. But I have seen the city change.
So what is it about the city that has changed? A lot has changed in the city. But anything in particular which has changed in the city which you wished had never changed?
Yes, road rage, the traffic. It's horrible. I mean, 25 years ago, there weren't so many cars and the roads were wide enough. You could walk on them. In fact, we used to cross them all the time. Now you need to get into a subway, or go over bridge. It's the traffic and it's the temperament of the people.
You think the temperament has also changed?
Absolutely, because Delhiwalas were polite by nature. I mean, even if they didn't like something, they were polite. They were sweet-natured. They were very, very giving and very welcoming. I find them very brusque now. They are rude. And intolerance has crept in a lot more than... It didn't exist, I think, 25 years ago. At least it didn't show its face as much as it is in your face now.
Big intolerance really comes from the big city life and fast pace
and the growth of the population. There's less space and more people, more people, less jobs.
Story of every metropolitan city in this country.
That's progress, I guess, one aspect of progress.
Yeah, one aspect of progress. Anything about the city apart from the road rage which you would like to change and something that you would like to preserve?
Well, I would still insist road rage, people's rudeness, overpopulated roads, I would say. I would like to change that, but I guess you can't cut down the population that immediately.
Yeah, that's true, with all the people coming into the city
Yes,
now.
Absolutely, that's natural too. Now people are seeking employment, and why not?
But Delhi is supposed to be one of the greenest cities in the...
That is what I would love to preserve. The space, the spaces, the monuments and the greenery.
What an apt place to talk about it, right here at the Habitat Center, next to the Lotus Pond. It's beautiful.
I forgot to tell you, there's another thing that I'd like to change is the pollution in this city. Delhi used to smell so sweet and fresh. We used to have such beautiful winters when I was a kid, a child, even when I was growing up. But it stinks now. Winter is one of the worst seasons. odor-wise.
Yeah.
I would like to change that.
Well, I really, really hope that it all changes, Ms.
hope
Kapur.
so.
I hope so too. Well, anything that our viewers should look out for? You are an avid blogger. Your books are, of course, on their way. Anything else that the viewers should keep an eye out for? Something from Ms. Kapur?
I'm almost scared to tell you that's that's the 7th thing that I'd like to try, and I'm going to try it. Write a screenplay.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's going
I'm
to
very
be
enthused.
wonderful. That's going to be wonderful.
I already have 2-3 themes, and I'm damned if I don't.
Well, it's been wonderful talking to you, Ms. Kapur. Thank you so much for talking to us about your crush on Delhi and bringing us to your favorite place in the city. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I loved it.